Hi, I am Cam Calderon. During the previous session, we covered a very important session about simple linear regression. This will allow you to understand complex topics in econometrics, so more difficult estimations. Now we are going to cover an example, and in my next video, I will cover the topic of prediction with linear regression. So let's start here. Here we have a code, the code that we used during the previous session, and is the code that is in the Colonescu book, and it covers a linear regression. What we are going to do is to adapt this code to real circumstances using a dataset from the ONEs. So I go here to File, New File, RScript. I open a new RScript, and then I sit anywhere here on this previous code. I hit Control A, and then Control C, and then I will go to the new script, and I will hit Control V. So if you are using a Mac computer, remember that instead of Control, you will need to hit Command plus the other key, so you will be able to do the same things. Okay. So we start here with this code. So we are going to adapt the code to a different data set. Let's do that. Let's go to see what is the data set that we are going to use. The source is in here, private rent and house prices, October 2024. And you can see that we have the link to download the data set around here. So you can download the same data set that I already downloaded here in that link. So after you download the link, you will see something like that. And look, the first error that I found is that these two cells are reading the numbers like as a text. So if you click on this triangle here in Excel, you will be able to convert that cell to number, convert to number. Like hit here as well, convert to number. And what other thing I will change? I don't like capitals in the variables because that slows me down. So I will transfer everything, all my variables to this setting. And if I go down here at the end, I don't have all the observations. So I decided to delete the very last observation. In the reality, in another session, we can cover the topic of data management, in which there are methods to forecast or extrapolate, and methods to improve or to generate this data. But one of them is deleting the last observation, and to be honest, since this is linear regression, we do not need to cover the topic now. So we are pretty much ready. I just would like to add that some Mac books, I have found that they take these numbers as text, all of them. So if you just want to make sure that everything is okay, just make sure to hit number, and I think you can take it from there. You will save the file as say something short. Let's say that we will cover this is dataset 2. Let's put that name, and we will save it in our personal folder. I will do it just here for very quick reasons in my documents. Right? Okay. Once I have done that, I don't need to be here anymore. Yes. So let's explore the code that we used last time. Remember, this line, line 4, RM and list and everything else, you need to treat this with caution, as this clears the whole environment. So anything that you have done before. We use this command because we don't want any other previous calculation to interfere with our routine. Okay. Remember that if you haven't done this before, you need to install the package DevTools. Yes. And I have put here a hash on that line of command because as I already did install the package, I don't need to carry out installing it again. But if you do, please remove the hash and hit Control plus Enter, which will run line 8. Another way to run the lines is by clicking here, but if you do Control plus Enter, I think you will be doing it very quickly. Okay, the same happened with this command, install.packages remotes. Remember, if you haven't done it, if you haven't installed remotes, you will have to do it as a first step. Okay, this line of command is to download the book POE data. We do not need that line because we are going to download our own dataset. Also, we don't need this library POE data, which is the book Principles of Econometrics data, because we are going to get our own data. This line loads and inspects the dataset from that book. So I will put a hash there because I also want to not to do that line. I need to upload my own dataset. I think we can use this one to plot our data later on. So let's start from here. I go to import from Excel, and then I browse, and then I found in my documents the dataset 2. I click open, and you can see that I have here the code that I need. Also, note that we have an error here since the Excel file has headings. That is what R is reading, all the headings, and that obviously the calculations will not be okay if those headings are in there. For that reason, I will ask R to use skip 6, which will skip the first 6 lines. And as you can see, the correct names for my variables are already in there as in the Excel file. So everything is correct. I can click on here to copy this code. I am going to use this code in my R script. I cancel here, I go to line 20, I hit Control plus Enter, and then I am ready to hit Control plus Enter in line 20. I open the library read Excel. Yes, and I would like to say something. Possibly another thing that you need to do is to install the package readxl. So read X and L. Before that, I already did that. I do not really need to do it again. But if you haven't done that, you need to install the package before running line here, this new line 21, where you open the library. Okay, I will put a hash there since I already installed the package readxl in my computer. Right, I think actually I put an L here in capitals. No, it's fine. Okay. Yes. So we open the library read Excel. So I already did. Previously, you can see in the console that I already did that. Now I go to line 22. Remember, everything to the left of these two symbols is an object, in the name of an object. In this case, I call it dataset 2, and it's going to store the dataset of Excel with skip 6. This code, remember, we took it from import dataset, and we will just run it like it is. And you can see that we created a dataset with 104 observations. If you have more than 104 observations, it means that you have a missing data in your Excel file. So you need to go to your Excel workbook and delete the rows that are at the bottom. So if you delete these lines, I think you will get 104 observations. I found that error as well around in my sessions. This command view will show me the dataset, and you can see that everything needs to look like this. If it doesn't in your exercise, so I think you will need to check why. Everything needs to look like this. Okay, let's come back here. Now we are going to plot the data. Remember, this is the name of the object. So previously in the POE data book, Principles of Econometric Data, the name of the object was CPS_small. Now we put as a name dataset 2. Then we hit the sign dollar, yes, and that will help us. Why is not showing? It needs to show. Oh yes, here it is. It needs to show the variables. So I will say that price index for the rents is the first variable that is going to be in the x-axis, and then I will put on the y-axis the other variable, which is dataset sign dollar, and it's going to be HPI, yes, and in the X lab the label, this means X lab means label for the y-x axis. I will put in there rent, yes, price, rent price if you want, and here in the y lab, or the label for y axis, I will put house price index. So we are starting to try to do everything. I got an error, as you can see in here. So what did I do wrong? Let me check very quickly. I think this will help you as well in case you have the same issue. Oh, it's dataset 2. You see the name needs to be exactly. So I missed the number 2. So I hit Control Enter, and voila, I have here the right graph, as you can see. Yes. Now we have here that the book is also showing us how to download other data set, this time called food, and with these head functions we will be able to look at other the headings of the data set. So if we, instead of food, put data set 2, yes, you will be able to see here that what is R doing. So it is taking the date as a character variable, and it's taking a PIPR, the rent price, as a double number, and house price index as a double number. So you will be able to inspect what your headings, the 6 first rows, you will be able to display them and to explore them and inspect them. Okay, the next thing is to produce this plot in which I will use the same variables that I use in here. So I will be able just to Control C this and Control V in here. Yes, so I will not need to type everything again. So I am going to do dataset 2 $sign PIPR, comma, dataset 2 sign dollar HPI, and then I will use in the y-axis this one, this variable, the HPI. So I only need to replace these variables from the book with my variables. Let's do it very quickly. Control V. Here I have a rent price in the, oh no, is in the x-axis we have rent price, yes. And in the y-axis we have HPI. Okay, I put it like this, but obviously you can modify whatever you want to put in the labels at home. Okay, this type P means that the scatter plot uses points as a marker. So let's Control Enter this to see if it works, and it works perfectly. You can see here on the plot, on the plot panel, the new graph. Okay, so now we are going to run the regression. Remember, everything to the left of these two symbols are is a name. So Here we have mod 1. I put this as model 1. I can carry on using the same object name. It doesn't matter. LM means that this is linear regression. Here, instead of food expenditure, which is the Y variable, I am going to put HPI. Remember that HPI is in the Y axis in this model that I am running. Yes. Control. Oh, I only need HPI really. HPI. And here I will put PPI. I think is the name. Or PIPR. Yes. And the data is dataset 2. You can see we are adapting everything. These two lines are exactly the same. Remember, to the left of these two signs or symbols, we have an object name. So we are extracting the coefficient from mod 1. Remember, mod 1 is the object that we created in this line 42. And is exactly the same, so we are extracting the intercept or constant term of the model with line 43, Control Enter. We have an error in mod 1 not found. That means that I haven't run the line 42 first, so I will run it now. Then I will run line 43. Then I will run line 44. Yes, that is beta 2. We are extracting there in line 44 the slope or the coefficient for income. Well, in this case, it's not for income, it's the coefficient for PIPR, for rents or rent price. Here we have as well this object is mod 1. Mod 1 is the summary of mod 1, which is the result that we can see on the console. So if I hit Control Enter here, we will get a summary stored in smod 1. And if I call smod 1 in line 46, I hit Control plus Enter, and that will display the model summary with coefficient estimates, R squared, and all the other statistics. So here you go. This is the model, and you can see that is actually very significant, less than 1%. And okay. So that is good. Right. Let's go then to line 48. In this case, the only thing that we are going to do in line 48 is actually use the same, exactly the same plot that we adapted before here in line 32 to 38. So we can actually just Control C and Control V if we want. But I think the most interesting thing is that we don't need to, because as we already have in the panel the right plot, I can just delete this and hit this, Control Enter, and you can see that the regression line has been added to the plot that we initially created. So it's already there, everything is fine. Yes. So I actually deleted a section of the code because there is not a need to repeat all again this plot command in before line 48. Finally, we can access here the names and do exactly the same things that we explored in my previous video. So if you haven't done that, I recommend you to see it so you will understand what we stored, how we store the coefficients, how can we have access to the names of these objects, so we will be able to get to know what to extract. Thank you very much, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel.